What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for life, coming at you on YouTube, and today I've got another edition of Tales from the Fort, where I review older movies and I tell you guys whether they are worth watching or worth skipping altogether. Today I've got kind of another under-the-radar, almost kind of indie release today that I found in the wild. I'm very excited to review this one because I love to bring to light movies that some of you guys may not have heard before. I think every horror reviewer has reviewed Halloween and Psycho and Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th, and I have too. I have my franchise reviews on this channel if you want to go see those. But I like lately finding new movies, whether it be on Shudder, on Tubi, whatever, finding new movies and bringing you guys my feedback on those to get those directors and those crews and those movies more exposure. So today on Tales from the Fort, I'm reviewing a 2006 release called Alone with Her. I want to apologize for the noise in the background. The audio on this video is not going to be great because I've got a fan running. We're in the dog days of August here. I'm doing my third straight review today on this channel, and it's very hot, so I have to breathe. So I've got a fan on me, so I apologize for the audio. But I wanted to talk to you guys about Alone with Her. I was watching a documentary on Tubi called The 50 Greatest Horror Films You've Never Seen Before, and this film was on the list. Eric Nicholas, the director and writer of this film, was one of the interviewees on this, and he talked about different horror films and what he liked. And his film, Alone with Her, was on this list, and it looked very promising, so I went and I found it on Tubi, and I watched it, and I really, really enjoyed it. Again, it's written and directed by Eric Nicholas, and it's starring Ana Claudia Talencion and Colin Hanks. And it is it's about an hour and 30 minutes, an hour and 29 minutes. It is a kind of a stalker movie. It is basically the premise of this film is Ana Claudia Talencion character is this kind of down on her luck, having a rough life, not having her stuff together, going through breakups, kind of a character. She comes into this coffee shop and she meets this stranger who takes a liking to her, and you see this stranger running around, kind of following her with different kind of concealed cameras, and she winds up being like his flavor of the month. He sneaks into her house, follows her around, finds out where she lives, gets all this footage, and kind of has this surveillance room that he watches her through different cameras that he's placed in her house. So it is this, I want to say slow burn stalker film, but it's not really a slow burn. It's meant to be a slow burn, but it kind of hits you pretty fast and pretty hard, which is a major positive in this film. And that's pretty much it. I'll get to the spoilers at the end of this film, but for right now, I'll give you guys the non-spoiler review. First things first, I dig the cinematic and creative camera choices in this. This whole film is almost done as a found footage. It's not necessarily found footage, it's all just like surveillance cameras, but it's done by different cameras as the stalker, Colin Hanks, follows around Ana Claudia Talencion, follows her around from the coffee shop to following her around in her car, seeing where she goes, going into her house when she's not there, watching him in his house on cameras in her house. Just different creative cameras that look really good, realistic, have that grainy quality to it, but you can see everything. It's well lit, so none of the surveillance footage blends in. There's audio the whole time, so it is a really creative, almost found footage combined with the stalker film to give you that tension, but it's also well lit so you're not losing anything, which is an important thing on this. And with something like this, you really want a lot of tension, which they did a good job of, and you want good acting. And the two main actors, again, Colin Hanks and Ana Claudia Talencion, did a really nice job acting in this. Colin Hanks' character is this kind of intelligent and kind of oddly charming, but also really kind of unkempt and awkward nerd character, who's obviously very high-strung. He has kind of a Norman Bates-ish feel to him, where part of him is kind of likable and kind of nerdy awkward, like in a fun way, but then he's kind of a high-strung, weird character where you can see where his switch would flip if you start to find out what he's about. You could see the anger and the aggression come out in him, and they do a good job with that, with the best friend character, stuff like that. They also have another character that Ana Claudia is dating, who kind of brings out the anger in Colin Hanks' character. One of the only negatives really in this film, which is a lot of fun to me, is that they kind of go through scenes too quickly in this. They pace it out well so you see the progression of the different things that the stalker character is doing, But in something like this, you really want some gritty, nasty. You want to feel dirty for Anna Claudia's character, and you want to feel like Colin Hanks is disgusting. And they do some really, really gross things with his character, but they do them very fast. So the two negative notes I have here are scenes going by too quick, and they skip over things too quickly. I wish they had let some of these scenes marinate. I'm going to give you guys a couple spoilers here and some of the things that he does. During one scene, Anna Claudia she takes a hairbrush because she's lonely and she can't find a worthwhile man. So at nighttime, she takes a hairbrush, and PG-13, she's pleasuring herself with this hairbrush, and he's watching the video and presumably pleasuring himself to it. So it's this disgusting invasion of privacy, this sexual repression kind of thing that Colin Hanks is doing. And it's a really fast scene. She just jumps right into it, and he jumps into it, and 10 seconds later it's over. You don't see kind of the facial expressions, or they don't linger on it to make it really feel disgusting in the way they could. Another scene, Colin Hanks' character kidnaps Anna Claudia's dog so that she'll miss him and rely on him to find the dog. So eventually when he takes the kidnapped dog out of his house and brings him back to her, that she'll love him. And that scene works really well, and it's really disgusting and it's gross to kidnap someone's animal and best friend like that and use that to get in their minds. It's a really gross, again, invasion of privacy, but it happens really quick. He kidnaps the dog very fast and then just kind of brings him back, and there's no real fanfare to it. They don't use the dialogue and the moments and the cameras to marinate and let it set in. Another one that's, I think, the most disgusting of all of them is Colin Hanks puts broken glass in Anna Claudia's dark apartment. So when she comes stumbling in the middle of the night, she steps on this broken glass and really cuts and destroys her foot so that she needs help. So she calls the only person she can think of, Colin Hanks, to come and help her and bandage her up and rescue her. So there's just that disgusting need for attention that Colin Hanks will do anything in what he thinks is doing it out of love. But meanwhile, he's physically and mentally entrapping and harming and just causing physical and mental damage to this character to try and get her to love him. It's this nasty way of doing things, this captive disease. But they kind of just go through it too quickly. So the runtime is an average runtime, like an hour and a half, but I almost wish they had sacrificed some dialogue scenes, or maybe even the background character of the friend and the boyfriend, sacrifice some of those scenes. And I know it's sacrificing some character, but to get to the meat of some of these darker scenes, or they had made the movie 10 minutes longer and just given those 3 scenes some more grit and feeling to them, because you really want to feel disgusting and feel bad for the main character when it happens. Spoiler alert, again, if you guys have not seen this, pause the video, go watch the movie. But I'm going to spoil the ending here. Basically, she finally is able to confront and kind of get away from this disgusting character. But then also at the end, you see Colin Hanks' character stalking somebody else. So he's still out there. So I would love, even though it's been 14 years, and I didn't see a lot of other credits for Eric Nicholas, but I would love to see a sequel to this with this character stalking somebody else, kind of like the Creep movies that are on Netflix. Overall, I really enjoyed this. Again, elongating some scenes and kind of placing some scenes over a couple other ones in this movie would have made it like a total home run for me. But all in all, I'm still going to give this a solid 7.5 out of 10. Again, I was sad to see that Eric Nicholas does not have a lot of other major credits, because his direction was very good in this. The creative style that he chose for this was good. The technical aspects were good. The acting was good. Really, just overall, the writing, everything about this I really enjoyed. And it gives you that tense feel where it didn't go over the edge like I'd have hoped, but it went right up close to the edge. So 7.5 out of 10. And I hope that Eric Nicholas is still making films, because I really enjoyed the writing and directing in this movie. So if you guys have happened to see this, what do you think of 2006's Alone with Her? If you have not seen it, it's available for free right now on Tubi. So I recommend you guys put this one in your queue. It is one you might not have heard of, but you're going to thank me at the end, because this is a fun, gritty film, and I think you'll enjoy it. So tell me in the comments down below what you thought of this movie if you've seen it, and tell me what other indie films you might want me to review in the future on Tales from the Fort. Stay scared, guys. Take care. I've got one more review to do, so stay tuned for that.